All right, it's myself, Phil, and our trusty cameraman, Mr. Weimeng, from No Game, No Talk in the background. And I think going to be our new kind of interview, and you're going to see new videos and stuff like that from us pretty soon. Now, we are at Mystery Box in, what is it, Golden Center or something like that. Golden Mall Center, yeah, and it's a rainy day, so everyone's a bit tired. But I have with me none other than Mr. Marcus Revenant Tan. Very acclaimed StarCraft II gamer here in Singapore, especially. And how are you today?
I'm quite fine. It's just a little tired. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's really sleepy. Yeah. All right. We're just gonna jump into it. How's the tournament been so far? I did hear you just got out of a losers bracket match, and strangely enough, it's a best of one losers bracket. So it's a best of three format for the top bracket, and then the minute you jump down, it's a best of one. That has to be played in your head because it's already a bit stressful to be dropped to the losers bracket and then to only have one chance. How do you think it actually works out? I mean, for whoever makes it through the losers bracket to the finals, because you already have that attitude where, I don't want to go home, while you go through the loser bracket. And then now it adds the extra factor and an extra stress, of saying, shit, I only have one chance left.
Well, I think, losers bracket itself, it's quite volatile, if it's a best of one, and add that to the fact that certain matchups are also very volatile and can go either way, even with the slightest mistakes. I think that itself is quite pressurizing. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. What else do we have? Okay, in the in esports itself, one of the things that a lot of people don't deal well with is the fact of defeat and how they lose. What do you think is a good way to actually, or actually not for people themselves, but how do you deal with defeat? Because it's never an easy thing. I can attest to that as well in my years of FPS gaming. But yourself personally, how do you deal with defeat and how do you move on from that?
Well, personally, how I deal with defeat is I look forward towards when I can perform to redeem myself. Every time I lose, I always tell myself that I shouldn't get too down. Like, I'm one of the more emotional players. Like, I would feel very down if I lose, but to cope with that, I just tell myself that I'm gonna redeem myself in the next big tournament, and then immediately I look forward to the next one. And hopefully, like, quote unquote an example, for WCG, I only got third place, and I was very, very upset with that. And how I dealt with that, that so-called sadness was that I looked around to see which was the next LAN tournament, and found myself ESTC, which is eSports Thailand Championship, and I told the managers, look, I lost WCG, give me a chance to redeem myself at Thailand, and there it is.
Right, but I guess for people who don't know, the frosting to that was you and Ian won first and not won, but took first and second place in the ISF qualifier tournament kind of thing before the WCG one, which was at the same venue. Okay. Esports itself is quite fragmented in Southeast Asia. It's not as recognized, I guess, and it's not as, I think, for the lack of a better word, united compared to the rest of the world. Now, what do you think can be done to, not just in StarCraft II as a community, but in a greater whole, can be done to unite this fragmented kind of community in Southeast Asia?
Well, I think firstly, esports should be promoted more as a spectator sport. Like, a lot of people should be aware that esports actually exists, because one of the reasons why esports is not united now, it's not just because the current players or the current fan base is totally fragmented. It's because people who don't play esports are not aware of the existence of esports, and they just see it as any other computer game or whatnot. So I think if there's more awareness of esports itself, I think it'll be a very good opportunity for C to grow.
Okay. Just StarCraft II as a whole in Singapore right now at the moment, it's been growing, and worldwide there's that StarCraft bubble that's happening, and I think a lot of people hope that it maintains. But like Wayman was actually talking to me not too long ago of how there can be several systems implemented into StarCraft to give beginners a bit of a foothold, because it is quite a complex game. It's fun to play, but after a while, like most RTSs, it gets to the point where for beginners themselves, it starts to get not fun in a sense. what do you think can be done tournament wise to kind of, you know, encourage new talent and encourage people who might not be, you know, bronze, or sorry, might not be gold, might be bronze, to just keep playing StarCraft?
Well, I think, firstly, you have to, like, if you really want the bronze players or gold players to be competitive, they have to be, like, introduced, like, there isn't, like, totally no leagues for them. Like, for Southeast Asia, there's actually a hosting of, like, a bronze, silver, gold league, a tournament where, and it's on a weekly basis where only bronze, silver, and gold players can play. And, add to that, there is also a higher one, there's also a media one where there is platinum and diamond can only play. So that in itself, I think it's quite an encouraging thing. But most of all, they have to love the game and they have to be willing to improve from being just bronze, gold, or silver. Yeah.
Okay, I think this is going to be a quite interesting question. How does it feel, and what are your experiences? Let's try and avoid all the. In your opinion, this is off kind of. Well, not off, can't be off the record because it is an interview, but in your personal experience, how different is it, and some of the experiences that you have had, from being a solo player to being part of an actual gaming organization?
Well, I think the first thing is that, the management itself, it helps you clear a lot of admin stuff, helps you just focus on what you can focus on, which is just playing the game rather than having to deal with a lot of stuff like booking of air tickets, accommodations and whatnot when you're going overseas and such. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll do something a bit unorthodox. We'll give the interviewer or interviewee one question. So you can ask me one question and I will answer that one question. So think hard about it. And this is an interesting thing because people don't do this, do they? They don't let the interviewer get a question.
Okay. What was your top 3 predictions in this tournament itself?
Well, looking at the bracket, I arrived fairly late. I arrived in time for your match with Muse. To be honest, I saw Ice in the bracket as well. But if I had to choose a top 3, it would have been. I was expecting Muse. I was really rooting for Muse to take top, and then probably Ice. And then you, it was really close between second and third. So it could have been you second, Ice third, or Ice second, you third. Yeah.
Muse being first.
Yes, with Muse being first. Because the reason why I say that, it's interesting that I say that because it's very interesting because Muse is one of those players where he just has that insatiable hunger to just get better, and he is very undeterred when he has his mind set to it. So it's very interesting. So even when he loses, or even when he wins, he's like, you know, it's never enough in a good way. So yeah, those are my top three prediction there, as I get a bit tongue tied there. But, any shout outs?
Well, before that, I would like to say that yes, Muse is, as you have mentioned, he's a very talented player. But the thing is now, I feel that he's rather in a slump where he's letting the losses get to him too much. And then he is unable to focus on what he wants to do right now, on succeeding in the tournament itself, to the extent that he can actually drop out before getting to the semi-finals or getting to at least the top 4. Cause I feel that he's definitely one of the better players right here, and yeah, I think that's all. So as for shout outs, I would say shout out to Flash eSports. Muse, my partner, who has always been here with me. The friends who have came down for me, yeah, and of course to you for the interview.
Alright, sweet. Thanks a lot. We'll be back with more videos, and of course this is actually this is the first time I've been interviewing people, because it's quite rare, because you usually see me behind the mic, not as an interviewer, but usually as an interviewee or a commentator or emceeing. So alright, thank you very much, Marcus, and yeah, thank you very much, and stay tuned for more videos from NGNT.